What's up? Today we are going to talk about single parenting. And I'm going to tell you why I'm raising this question. I have a mom who I had a conversation with the other day, and she was talking to me about a single dad that she knows. And she brought up an interesting point that I thought I wanted to just bring to the community and share with the community and see what your thoughts were if you had questions regarding it. And that was, this guy was a single dad of 3 sons. And she said 2 very interesting things to me. My mom did. And I'm going to tell you why it's interesting in just a second. And she said, these kids she likes the kids because my mom is an educator, an early childhood educator. And she said that these boys, she really applauded the gentleman for taking on the 3 children and 3 sons. But she said this: he really needs to get these boys some kind of woman's perspective in their life as well, so they can be balanced. Now, I'm going to tell you why that's interesting. Because my mom raised 8 children, 4 boys, as a single mom. So 4 boys and 4 girls in my family. 4 of us, the boys. She was a single mom, is my point. And I think I turned out pretty well. Now, there are some things that I got from other areas, male perspective that I got from other areas of my life. But it was interesting that she said that it would be good if this gentleman got his sons some sort of a female perspective so they can be balanced. The other thing she said is, for them to have some sort of structure, it's good to get them into some sort of sport or activity or what have you, which is what she did with us. I mean, we were very, very busy when we were young, whether it was football or basketball or baseball or something at the park or something, wrestling or something. We were always in some kind of sport. So I want to know from your perspective, do you think it's possible for a man without the input of a woman to successfully raise boys or girls? And do you think it's possible for a woman to successfully raise children, boys or girls, without the input of a man? I personally think, before you start answering those questions, and by the way, if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below about relationships, about family, about life, anything. I will be happy to answer it, because I'm going to spend the rest of my life helping you get to the next level in your life. I will spend the rest of my life helping you get to the next level in yours. So I personally think that the best situation is to have both parents in the home, or 2 committed adults, male and female, in the home, so that the children can become balanced. I'm a parent, and I like being a dad, right? But there are things that I can teach my sons that a woman cannot teach them. There are things that I have to learn as a man my mom could not teach me. She can't do it, right? And there are things that my wife can teach my daughter that I can't teach her. There are things that my daughter will go through in her life that I have no clue about. I can't help her get past it, right? I can't help her get past it. I'm sorry. And there are things that happen in a boy's life that a mother, it's difficult, if possible, for her to help that boy get through it in his life. So I am of the thought that having both parents in the relationship brings a kind of balance that is better for raising a son or a daughter. And I want to know what you think. One, are you a single parent? Are you currently raising a child on your own? And what is that like? What are some challenges? If you're a mom raising a boy, what are your challenges? If you're a dad raising a girl, what are your challenges? If you are a mom who's raising a daughter, there are some some challenges there. And the same thing if you're a dad raising a boy, there are some challenges there. And the other day also, I was speaking to a lady who was raised by her grandmother, and I could tell based on her hardened exterior, I could tell that she did not have much male influence in her life. I could just tell by her hardened exterior, she didn't have much male influence. And so one of the things we talked about were, some of her relationship challenges, and she was facing one at the time. And I told her why. I said, ma'am, you need to slow down. Well, he should be chasing me. I said, you need to just shut up and let him be who he is. You're trying to tell this man how to be what you want him to be. You're trying to tell him what you want him to be when that may not be who he is. You're trying to make people be what you want them to be for you so they can be right, when it may be the complete opposite of who they are. And they're going to be miserable if they accept what you're trying to get them to become. And that's just how it is. Click the link in my bio for ebooks. I have a new ebook that will be coming out, a rewrite called Relationship Success. 10 big relationship mistakes most people make and how to avoid them. I would love it if you would follow the content. Simply click follow. I push out content on a daily basis. My goal is to give you some kind of nugget that you can use to help you get to the next level in your life. So let's get this started. I want to know where you're from. Simply leave it in the comment section. Tell me where you're from. If you're watching this on the replay, let me know where you're from. I would love to hear where you're from as well. I'm in the Texas area in the United States of America, and I love it here. So what do you think about this whole single parent thing? I've heard a lot of different things about single parents, right? Meaning, for instance, in the black community, 75, 80%, I've heard this. I don't know how true it is. 75, 80% of the households are single parents. I don't know if that's true, but even if 50% is the case, that's true. Why are there so many single parents out there? Why? I mean, whether it's a man raising a child or children, or if it's a woman raising a child, why is it so many single parents out there? Why is it so much of this going on? And do you think, how you doing, user 931 from Connecticut? And do you think that a person, a single parent, gives the child the best opportunity to succeed in life? And my perspective is, I think having both parents in the house balances it, because, again, there are things that my daughter, I am prone to protect my daughter from boys and the world, essentially, right? That's just who I am. I'm prone to do that. Every part of me wants to protect her from being hurt, from being disappointed in some way, shape, form, or fashion. That's just who I am as a dad, right? And it was the same thing with my sons too, but I gave them a little bit. I wasn't as protective as of them as I am of my daughter. I gave them a little bit more leeway to scrape their knees, bump their elbows, stub their toes, and make mistakes, right? Because I, as a man, I know that we can recover from some of those things, and keep it moving. I also tried to protect my sons from some of the traps in this world when it comes to girls and the whole 9 yards, right? So I tried to educate them as much as possible based on my experience about those kinds of things, but give them the opportunity to experience some of those things themselves. And I also believe it's easier with respect to relationships for a girl to be hurt. It's easier. I think, this is just my perspective, it's easier for a girl to be hurt than it is for a boy, right? So again, having a conversation with my mom. And by the way, happy Father's Day to all of you fathers out there. I hope you're doing something to celebrate being a father. And I hope that those who you are a father to are honoring you and holding you in high esteem. Do something good for your dad, even if it's just calling or texting and telling him Happy Father's Day. That man would appreciate it. So tell me, what are your thoughts about, single parenthood, being a single parent? And do you think it's possible, specifically, do you think it's possible for a woman to raise a boy successfully? And do you think it's possible for a man to raise a girl successfully, and vice versa, woman towards a woman? And do they have the best chance? Right? What are your thoughts regarding that? Because it was interesting that my mom said to me about this guy who is raising 3 sons that she wishes that he wishes that this guy would get them exposure to a woman's perspective. That was interesting to me because she raised my brothers and I as a single mom. And she did her best. And there were some things that my mom could not teach us. We had to learn by experience, right? So Christy said, it's possible, it's tough, but with God, they can do anything. And yeah, I mean, I believe that as well as a man of faith. With God, they can do anything, but again, is it possible for a woman to give these boys a male, some kind of male perspective, or are they going to be unbalanced, right? So user 931 says, boys are harder to raise when you are single. Why do you think that is? Why do you think boys are harder and girls are easier? Why do you think that is? I think that a man raising a girl, it's going to be tough because there are going to be some things that girl will go through that you have never experienced in your life. And what the hell are you going to tell her, right? And for a woman, I think it's hard for her to raise boys because when he is going through some stuff, what are you going to tell the boys? My mom did her best, and I think she did a great job, right? She did a great job. But, there are some things that we just had to learn by experience. And I tried to give my sons an advantage in life by sharing these experiences with them so they didn't have to go through it. By doing that, I thought that I was giving them a head start in life, right? They were able to go further in life, do more in life because of that. But if you are a single parent of a child, what are your challenges? with raising your child now without the help of someone else? What are your challenges? The other thing is, why are you a single parent? I want to know that question too. Why are you a single parent? Let me tell you a story, just a real quick story. Again, click the link in my bio. You can get access to ebooks right now. My latest release is called It's Time to Move On. The 5 relationship deal breakers that let you know it's time to go. I'm going to pause here for just a second. I did a video the other day, and it was titled, Why Do Men Cheat? Right? There's only one reason why men cheat. And I said that cheating is just not something that men do. Cheating is something that women do as well. And I don't care who does it more or less or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. What I do know is there's only one reason why anybody cheats. One. That's it. Just one. It's not 2, not 20. No excuses. It's one reason why men cheat. And I would love to know from you what your perspective is, on why you think men cheat. But this is what I said in this video. I said the reason why men cheat, ladies, listen to me. The reason why men cheat is because they do not possess the mental discipline, the mental maturity, the discipline to say no when they're tempted. They don't have the discipline to do it. Right? And so a guy came to my Instagram and said, it depends. There are some good reasons why a man cheats. And I said, tell me what you're talking about. Explain what you're talking about, because there ain't good reason. There's no good reason why anybody would cheat, right? There's no good reason. So tell me. And he sent me a message. And I'm going to tell you what that message is, because us women know about girls and the boys and like boys stuff like sports, basketball, baseball. One of the things, so I agree with what you're saying, user 931. I think that here's what my mom did. Okay, I think my mom recognized early that she could not do it by herself. Well, she had 8 children, and my brother and I are the babies of 8. And here's what she recognized. She couldn't do it on her own. So what she did is she got us involved in everything. Football, basketball, baseball, sports at the park, sports in school. We were in sports all our lives. And it wasn't co-ed. It was boy football, boy baseball, boy teams. And what I learned from that is, I received discipline from football coaches like some dads don't give to their own sons. I received discipline, the soft hand of discipline from a wrestling coach that most kids don't get from their dad. I was pushed in a way to be focused and disciplined in sports like nobody else. Like most men do not push their kids. You just kind of let them be whatever, right? A lot of times that happens. So my mom recognized early that we needed some kind of male influence in our lives. And she did that through allowing us to play sports. She sacrificed, paid the money, scraped the money up so that we can go out and be involved in sports so that we can, have that perspective. And I think that's what she was trying to say, that this father needs to do for his young sons. Get them involved, right? But if you get them involved in boys' sports, how do they get a woman's perspective, right? Because they can be their perspective if they don't have access to a woman in any way. Their perspective will be one-sided and skewed, and a one-sided or skewed perspective, who is that good for? So click the link in my bio if you're interested in getting any of the ebooks. I would appreciate your support. So let's go back. Also, I'm going to be talking back and forth between this subject of cheating. So this guy left me a message and he said, here's a good reason why, right? Imagine, he says, and I don't know if he was talking about himself or someone else, but he said, imagine you were in a relationship with someone and you were having sex 6 times a week, and that was happening every week for 5 years. And then all of a sudden, the woman just decided that she only wanted to have sex twice a month. What is that man supposed to do? He's going to cheat. And my response, so I want to know what your perspective is. That I'm going to tell you what my response is. Because I don't think he has to cheat. I don't think he has to. Right? That's all the information that I got. He said that this man was having sex 5 times a week. Now it's down, after 5 years, it's down to twice a month. You know, I don't know if the woman has a medical issue. I don't know if she was doing it 5 times, 6 times a week because she was just trying to accommodate the sex drive of the guy. I don't know what those things are. What I do know is, this is what I said to him in this message. When a man is broke, has no money, he is not going to go rob a bank to get it. And the reason why he's not going to rob a bank to go get it is because he knows if he gets caught, his ass is going to jail. So the penalty, the consequence of that action stops him from taking the action. If a man knew, tell me if I'm wrong, hey, good viber from Louisiana. If a man knew that he would lose his family if he were caught cheating, I don't believe he would do it if he valued his family. If he valued the relationship, he would develop the mental discipline, just like not robbing the bank. He would develop the mental discipline to say, no, it is not worth it. A woman, same thing. A woman would not cheat if she knew the consequence was she would lose everything she worked hard for. What are your thoughts? And so that's why I say the only reason why men cheat, women cheat, is because they do not possess the mental discipline, right, to stay focused in spite of. Now, I offered him a solution. I said, listen, man, I don't know everything that's going on in terms of that kind of relationship or the relationship based on the scenario you gave me, but there's compromise, right? You could figure something else out, take care of yourself, whatever you have to do, right? Cheating does not have to be an option, right? Because what happens if you lost your drive, sir? Right? What if you wanted to do it 5 times a week, and all of a sudden you decided you did not want to do it, but twice a month? What should she do? What would you expect her to do? You expect her to hang in there, figure it out. You guys make an adjustment, come to some compromise. Typically, that's how it works. And that may not work for you, right? So what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that there's any good reason for anybody to cheat? That's a topic that I just threw in there, but we're also talking about it is tough, gotta be tough, to be a single parent and raise children. What are your thoughts regarding that? Can a woman successfully raise boys to be balanced? Can a man successfully raise girls to be balanced without the perspective of the other sex? Is it possible? Again, you can click the link in my bio, and I see that many of you are going to the link in my bio and you are checking out the books. I encourage you, get them, because it'll change your life. These books will change your life. My experience has been poured into these books, and it is part of my purpose is to help people get to the next level in their lives. That's just who I am. It's what I've done, who I am. It's what I will continue to do. It is the reason why I spend this much time on social media. I want to help as many people as I can before I go. And the more people I can help, the better. All right. Good Viber, what part of, tell me if you're still there, tell me what part of Louisiana are you from? I would love to know that. Tell me. So user 931, you said boys have to have a man figure in their lives, a male. So that's very, very, very good perspective, or a very good point. Do girls have to have a female figure in their lives? Do they have to? As much as boys need to have in their lives? Because, I mean, we are two different creatures. Men and women are. Two very different creatures. Men and women are different. Okay? So in the case of girls, right? Again, I said my mom put us in sports, and that's where I got a lot of my discipline from. How do we get girls the proper female influence? If you are a single mom or a single dad raising a daughter, how do we get those girls the proper female influence so that they can grow up to be whole women? Young ladies, whole women. One of the things that we have done with our daughter is, you say Girl Scouts, okay? Girl Scouts. That's interesting. I don't know the kind of things they teach them in Girl Scouts. I know that when I was a Boy Scout for a very brief time, maybe 1 or 2 years. Now, you say gymnastics, that's good. In fact, my daughter is a gymnast. She's 6, she'll be 7. She's a gymnast and on a female team, and that is very helpful to her. Now, here's the thing. My wife really teaches her how to be a little girl, right? But gymnastics teaches her how to be a team player, how to be focused, how to be strong, how to work through tough times. So there are some things that are helping her to become hardened, if you will, well-rounded as a competitor, as a person who works through challenging times. So those sports are helping her through that, and it's a girls' team, and that's cool. You say dance. Are we talking about girls only dance classes? Are we talking about co-ed dance classes? Are we talking about dance classes that are led by a man? Or are we talking about dance classes that are led by a woman only? And when you're trying to make those decisions, I mean, how do you make the choice? I mean, are you going to put a girl in dance if it is a male instructor? So yes, girls only. Okay, that's, we got to do whatever we have to help our kids get whatever kind of balance they need in their lives. I don't admit this, but some people may say, no, I'm not overbearing. I'm very protective of my daughter, right? I want to give her some leeway to be a little girl. But there are some moms who can be very protective of their girls. And this is something else that's interesting. I know some single moms who are tough, too tough, from my perspective, too tough on their little girls. Don't want them to cry. I mean, that's a boy thing, right? She has to experience, we have to help them experience disappointment and tough times and challenges and the whole 9 yards. I mean, I just don't understand. This is a tough world out here, and our kids are going to experience all kind of stuff. And I know some women that are just like, they don't want their girls to, they want their girls to be hard. And by the way, ladies, most men don't want a hard woman. What are your thoughts about that? Most men, they don't want some hard woman. When I say hard, I mean hard exterior, right? Hard to penetrate, hard to deal with, because she has a tough exterior that is not allowing her to be soft and loving when she's in a relationship with a man. So I'm going to tell you the story again, too. So I was talking to this lady the other day. She's trying to win back the heart of someone she believes could be her husband. And I asked her, what happened and what's going on and so on and so forth. And her response was, well, if he wants me, he would chase me. I said to her, what are you talking about? You guys were connected. You were in a relationship. I mean, what are you talking about? If he I thought he wanted you. He showed you he wanted you. What happened, right? Well, she told me that she had made a mistake and then told him that she made a mistake. So I asked her the question, why did you make the mistake? And she said she felt like she owed this person, so that's why she did what she did. And I said, you effed up, right? One, by doing it. Number two, by telling this guy that you said you thought was your husband. You messed up. I said, because he asked you if you had, because he needed to know if he was all you needed, right? Or wanted. And when you told him that you messed up, he was like, no, I can't deal with that, because you need more than me, or may have more than me. And that's not cool. As a man, I'm telling you, I'll be like, nah, I'm good. And he cut everything off. And she's saying, well, he doesn't chase me. I said, ma'am, he ain't gonna chase you. He done with you. He is done with you. Period. He's done. Because you broke his heart. You did something that it's hard, it'll be hard, impossible, or definitely hard for you to come back from. I said, you could save it, but you're going to have to beg to get him back. So you says it depends on what she went through, because getting your feelings hurt makes a big difference. You don't want to continue being hurt. Are you talking about girls? Or are you talking about this girl in the relationship that I'm talking about? Yeah, little girls, I want Danielle to experience success, and I want her to experience hardship in a good way, right? Here's what I mean. In gymnastics, she's one of the best at her age and level. And part of the reason why she is because she works very hard here at home, at practice. And she practices at it. So she's natural, but she practices at it, right? So when I'm working out, in my gym, her gym is right next to mine at my home. I tell her, you gotta work hard, because the way you practice here is the way you're going to perform at competition. If you play around here, if you don't get serious about landing something, right? If you don't get serious about being good at it, almost perfect at it, it's not going to happen when you are at competition. So now I am not so demanding that I don't let her play, right? But when she does not get a 9 or a 9.5 or whatever, I will remind her, remember, I told you that the way you perform will be a direct reflection of the way that you practice, that if you get it right in practice, it's easier to get it right in competition. But the reason why you didn't get right in competition is because you haven't put enough work in during practice. So I don't feel sorry for you. I wish you had done better, but you can change that by practicing harder this week, the next couple of weeks, or before the next competition. Perfect those areas that you have fallen short a little bit in, so that you can get better at it. And so she does that. And that's my way of taking disappointment and turning it into fuel that motivates her to actually do better, right? That's my perspective as a dad. I think if she was my first child, I'd probably be a little harder and banging my hands on the table or whatever, because I didn't know anything about, I have a little experience now with respect to parenting. So my approach is a little different. And plus, I want to be sensitive and soft with my daughter. I don't want her to have some hardened exterior like a lot of people do. I want her to have balance, right? I want her to be soft. I want her to be tough. I want her to be smart. I want her to be witty. I want her to be all of those things, right? I want her to be her own self, her own little girl, and so on and so forth. So I even let her beat up on me from time to time, because I want her to understand that she has power too. But I also want her to understand that you ain't gonna get nothing in life if you don't work hard for it. And that's the bottom line. So I agree with you. In relationships, it is tough when you are hurt over and over again, right? Or you want to stop being hurt in relationships. And people don't want to be continue to be hurt. And by the way, being hurt is a direct reflection, the direct cause of being hurt is when a person dishonors a commitment, or there are expectations, spoken or unspoken, that have not been realized in the relationship. It's just, you haven't communicated the expectation. The person misses the mark. You become hurt because you expected that person to do something, maybe you didn't communicate it, right? And those are things that happen. Nobody wants to be hurt in relationships, right? Well, continuously. There are some things that are deal breakers. There's some things that are not. But nobody wants to continuously be hurt in relationships. A good relationship is where expectations are clearly established and everybody's doing their part in that relationship to make sure that relationship remains whole and everybody's happy in the whole 9 yards. And by the way, I believe that what a relationship is all about is two people serving to meet the need of the other person, right? It's about doing what you have to do to make sure the other person is the needs in their lives are being met. So let's talk about this book. It's Time to Move On. 5 relationship deal breakers that let you know it's time to go. I'm going to talk about chapter number 3 because I want you to get this book. How do you know it's time to go? Right? You're like, I'm done. You're out. You may be facing that situation right now. Should I be leaving? Should I stay? Has it gotten bad? I mean, I don't know. Has it gotten bad enough for me to leave? So the 3rd chapter says, you know it's time to go when you are no longer respected in the relationship. Now let's talk about that, because this is one of the issues that this young lady that I spoke to the other day, that she had, right? Respect. I asked her, What is respect? Most people don't understand what respect is. What do you think respect is? Right? To respect someone. This is coming from the book. All right? I want you to go get this book. It's called It's Time to Move On. 5 relationship deal breakers that let you know it's time to go. There's another book that I really people need to get. Is called Watch Your Mouth. 5 things you saying every single day, almost every day, that is destroying your life, your image, and your relationships. Okay? There's another book, journal I want you guys to get. It's a 30 days to success journal, right? You're going to take small steps each day, and in 30 days, your entire life will change. Because we change through our thinking, right? Whatever we put into our ears, our eyes, and our mouth goes into our minds. Our minds then will produce it in our lives, okay? 30-day success journal takes you on a journey for 30 days to make small changes to help you become better in life. And then a book I wish everybody would get. It's called Love Yourself. Love Yourself. I know how to love someone else. Now, here's what I mean. Love is an action word. It's a verb. It's something we do, right? It can be seen or described as sacrificial actions we make towards someone else without any expectation of a return. I do things for my wife because I love her, and I don't expect her to do anything back. Right? I'm not paying for. I'm not doing something as a payment for her to do something back for me. In relationships, that's how it's supposed to work. That you do stuff for the other person because you love them. You sacrifice for the other person because you love them, right? You don't expect them to give you any sort of, you want to make life easier for that person. That's a two-way street, right? That's how it's supposed to work. That's what love is all about. But most people don't understand love from that perspective. They feel like if they do something for somebody, then that person is expected to do something back for them. That's not love. That's a business relationship, right? You provide a service and the person gives you some sort of return because of it. It's not how it works. Okay? So let's talk about how you doing, Butterfly. Let's talk about respect in a relationship. This book, ebook that I wrote, just released, It's Time to Move On. 5 relationship deal breakers that let you know it's time to go. These are 5 things that I believe, if these things are present in your relationship, you got to consider cutting your ties. I did. I had to, right? And if you hold on to something that no longer belongs to you, you cannot take possession of what does belong to you. And it's important for you to understand it. So let's talk about respect. What is respect, right? Respect in relationship is an underused word. I should respect my wife. You should respect your husband. You should respect the man in your life. You should respect the woman in your life. What does respect mean, right? Respect is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. Respect for the other person in a relationship means you recognize that they are a whole person and not just a way to get something you want. It means you know that they have different experiences and pain and opinions from you, but those differences don't minimize who they are as a human being. It is easy to say you have respect for someone. Active respect is a little trickier. If someone respects you, they demonstrate trust. They are mindful of how they communicate with you. They are reliable and accountable. They appreciate your differences. They are encouraging, and they know and understand you. Another explanation of respect is to hold in high esteem. That means to hold high above yourself, right? To honor them. To truly honor that person, to hold that person in high esteem and to honor them, right? And when you do that, you don't hurt them, You're not going to talk all kind of ways to them. You're not going to talk down to them. You're not going. None of that's going to happen. When you don't respect I heard a lady one time call this dude a bitch. N word. That's disrespectful, right? You cannot respect someone and talk to them and think it's okay to talk to them that way. A man cannot call his woman a bitch or a whore those are derogatory words. Now you could use whatever words you want in play, but respect, I'm talking about real foundational respect, means I am going to take my wife, I'm going to take the woman in my life, and I am going to hold her high above myself, right? And treat her with the dignity, respect, and the preciousness that she deserves. I'm not going to talk to her any kind of way, treat her any kind of way. I'm not going to let her, look any kind of way, any of that kind of stuff, right? I'm just not going to do that. And if she respects me, she will do the exact same thing. Now, Queen, you say they don't respect themselves. No. I do think that they respect themselves. They just don't understand what it means to respect somebody else. And I bet you a dime to a dollar that if a woman, is talking to her man in a disrespectful way, that she was allowed to get away with that with her father or some other adult figure or parental figure in her life. If a man is used to speaking down to a woman in a disrespectful manner, I bet you a dime to a dollar that he was allowed to get away with that with some sort of adult figure in his life. Funny story. I think I was about 17 or 18. I learned respect for a woman from my mom. And I learned the respect for adult figures from her as well. I was playing with her. She was cooking. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, so big ups to 305. And there was a word I learned called old lady, right? And back in the day, you say, okay, yeah, hey, old lady, but old lady could mean, your girl, your wife, whatever. But old lady could also mean you calling somebody old lady. Cute Flores, I don't know if you asked me a question. Ask me the question, and I will tell you if you should move on. I'm gonna shoot you straight. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm gonna tell you just like it is. Ask me the question in the comment section, and I'm gonna tell you. I may have to ask you one or two questions, but based on what your comment is, I'm gonna tell you if you should move on or not. So I was playing with my mom. She was cooking, and I called her old lady. She put that spoon down so fast and ran after me. I had to run out of the house. I was laughing, and she said, "Don't you ever in your life call me that." It really offended her, right? She didn't let me get away with that. My point is, my mom did not let us get away with that kind of stuff. That wasn't happening in her house, right? You gonna respect me. You're not gonna be calling me out of my name, that kind of stuff. So that's how I learned that. I was like, I ain't gonna never do that again. So, but we learn how to respect people in our relationships, in our lives, based on what our parents and those in authority allow us to get away with. I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story. My son, one of my sons, all my sons might see this, and my middle son will remember this. So cute Flores. You're asking me if you should move on. What happened? Just give me a brief synopsis of what happened, and I will tell you if it's time for you to move on or not, for sure. Okay. So, respect, right? My son, middle son, had done something that he wasn't supposed to do, and I needed to talk to him about it. And I went to go look for him. I couldn't find him. I saw him walking down the street, so I went up to him and said, "Hey, man, you need to come see me right now because I need to talk to you right this very second. So stop doing what you're doing, right?" And then I hurried up and went back to the house and just waited for him, right? And he was taking his time. So I walked back outside about 10 minutes later, and he was just casually walking down the street. I went and grabbed my son by his shirt and dragged him in the house, threw him up against the wall. So let me explain something to you. When I call you and I tell you to come here and it's serious, you better bring your ass in. End of story. He knew I was serious. I never had that problem again. What I was trying to teach him is you got to respect authority. Period. And you're not going to get away with that. Not with me, you're not. I'm not going to let you leave my house and not understand that if something serious happens, you got to make sure that you are adhering to authority. Okay, so Q, you're ready to relocate to Houston. Why? And what's stopping you? What you trying to go? If you're ready to go, go. Why you want to go? Why? Why are you trying to move to Houston? So, Queen, fear does not equal respect. However, fear, reverential fear, reverence, right, is an element of respect. Right? The reason why I respect my wife and hold her in high esteem is because my fear is she will not see the honor from me. Right? It's reverential fear, not afraid fear, scared of like you're being attacked by a bear. That's not the kind of fear, but reverential fear equals respect. Okay. And what I was trying to, if we're talking about the same situation, what I was trying to teach my sons is I'm responsible for the care in your life, right? He had just done something that was pretty bad that could have gotten him in trouble. And I needed to have a conversation with him to explain it, but he didn't heed my word. He just thought he can do whatever he wanted. So I had to show him that you can't do whatever you want while you're in my house. You can't do that, right? We're going to have this conversation. You're going to adhere to the rules. We're going to make things happen, okay? So you're dealing with a narcissist, okay? All right. So you're saying you're dealing with somebody who's narcissistic. Let me ask you a question, Cute Flores. Is being with this narcissist, if this person does not change their narcissistic behavior, is that a deal breaker for you? If you had to deal with it for the rest of your life, would you deal with it? If not, is it a deal breaker? The Bible says love is patient and kind. Fear doesn't equal any respect. It only teaches them to. So now, Queen, I'm a man of the word. Now I can have this conversation with you over and over again. So here is what one of the scriptures says, right? It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. What does that mean? The person who fears the Lord has started on their journey to becoming wise. Now, what is wise? Wisdom means understanding how to apply experience. That's what wisdom is. I write books full of wisdom because I have experienced 99.9% of what I put in these books. It's not, I ain't researching it. I'm writing about what it is I know, and I have coached and counseled other people through. I've gone through myself. That's wisdom. And a lot of people call me, I'm telling you, I know what it means to raise boys, right? Because I've raised 3. I'm learning what it means to raise a girl because my daughter's 6, will be 7 here shortly. But fear, reverential fear, is part of love. Now, I have a great by the way, let me just say this. I have a great relationship with my sons. My middle son actually texted me today and said, hey man, come on, let's go throw some ball around or whatever. What I was trying to teach him is you can't just do you can't just do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it, when right and wrong has to be sorted out. Right? You can't do that. So if I call you, if I ask you to do something, right? Not because I'm being lazy, but because, if I ask, then you got to get it done. If you choose not to, that's cool. That's cool. Go live in another house. That's cool, right? But not while you're in my house. There are certain rules, things we have to follow. And there's certain, when it comes to them, I have to do the same thing. I don't have a choice but to go work to feed them. That's one of the rules. I have to provide for them. I have to give them room to learn, to grow. That's part of what I'm responsible for doing as a dad. Okay, but we can have that conversation now or some other time. So, Queen, I sense that this is a sensitive subject for you, but I think that if you want your children to be afraid of you, I don't agree with that, right? But I also think that love chastens, corrects those that it loves, right? The Word of God says that too. It says God chastens, corrects, disciplines those that He loves. Those He don't discipline them. You understand? So discipline is part of love. What do I mean? Stove is hot. My daughter walks up to the stove. She wants to put her hand on the stove. I am not going to be casual about putting her hand back. I'm going to teach her a lesson that putting your hand on the hot stove will burn you and hurt you. So don't do that. I will be gentle the first time, but if it happens a second time or a third time, I will be more firm and more firm and more firm until she gets the point. I'm not trying to get her to be afraid of me. I'm trying to get her to respect my direction, right? So that she cannot be hurt in the long run. I'm not going to get into what happened with my son and I, but that kind of fear, that kind of respect for authority or adult in your life is healthy. It's healthy. I stole my mom's car one time. She beat the brakes off me. Yeah. And she should have. Because she was asleep and I went joyriding. And I was revving the engine and I broke the belt. She said, you could have killed somebody. Did I deserve to be chastened for that? Yes, I did. I didn't steal her car anymore. Anyway, so user says, don't think twice, listen to intuition. So I have a different take on that. User 931. I say this is For me, this is a litmus test. Are you willing to live with that for the rest of your life? Are you willing to live with a person who is like that for the rest of your life? If the answer is no, you should go immediately. Make a plan and leave. So Queen, you say I'm wise. I know that fear doesn't equal respect. You're making things up. I pray God shows you. Well, I'm not making things up. I can tell you that. I am not going to make things up while I'm on these lives. I'm going to tell you exactly what my experience is. And I'm not saying that I'm always right, but I'm giving you my experience. Now, I'm not making things up, especially when it comes to the Bible as well. I understand what reverence, respect, reverential fear is, and I understand what it means to be afraid. I'm not going to argue that point with you. I get it. I believe that we have an obligation to teach our children what reverential respect for authority or adults or people who have been given the privilege of having care over them. My daughter needs to respect her coach, right? Because her coach, even though we're paying for her gymnastics, right? Her coach is there to teach her how to do well in that sport. And my daughter is not going to waste our money by running around the gym just doing whatever she wants to, if she wants to be on the team, and she does, right? So she's going to do what she has to do to make sure she is respecting the coach, respecting the coach's authority, because we're giving care over our daughter into the hands of that coach while she is with that coach, in this case 9 hours a week. Anyway, we can talk about this another day. So you said, so if you do something to him and he jacks you up, you're saying it's right, you not God. So I think that maybe we don't understand each other. You're not understanding what I'm saying, and I hope that I'm responding to the right message. Queen, let me ask you a question. Do you have any kids? Because God gives us a very it's a privilege to have children, right? And one day I'm going to die. I'm going to be gone. The question is, what kind of foundation have I left for my sons and my daughter, right? What kind of example have I been? What kind of foundation have I left for my sons and my daughter, right? Have I taught them how to navigate this world in a way that helps them to be more successful in life? I think my mother did that with us, and I think I did that with my sons. And the proof is in the pudding because of the successes they're having in their lives. Obviously, they're making the decisions, but there was a foundation that I laid that hopefully they are continuing to follow today. You said your perspective is a slavery mindset. Well, it's not. I get it. It's not. I do not think that we should enslave our children. I just think that we have an obligation to help be like in a bowling alley, the bumpers to our children. We have been given charge over our children so they know what is right and wrong, what is good and what is bad, what is healthy and what is unhealthy. We've been given that privilege, that responsibility by God over our children. And so we have to make sure that we're doing that. This whole conversation started out with, can a single mom or a single dad successfully raise children? Can a dad successfully raise a girl or boys? And can a mom successfully raise boys or girls? And it came from my mom, who was a single mom with my brothers and I, said to me that she was thankful that this guy took custody of his 3 sons, but he needs to do what he can to make sure that there's some female influence or perspective in that child, in those children's lives, so they can have balance. So I brought that question to you. So Cute Flores, you said he's draining you, but I haven't heard you say, I'm looking up and down here, I haven't heard you say it's a deal breaker. Like, can you do this for the rest of your life? Can you live your life with someone who is narcissistic for if nothing changed, can you live like that for the rest of your life? I want to know the answer to that question. Okay? Because you might have the capacity to deal with someone like that. Okay, well then there's your answer. Move to Houston. Because if it's not going to change, if you don't believe it's going to change, you will continue to be miserable. Move. Dan, what do you mean? In my first marriage, the question at the end of the marriage of the counselor, he said to me, how long has this thing that you mentioned, how long has it been going on? I said, our entire marriage. And he said, why did you stay? I said, I thought the person would change. He told me, you don't have any power to change anybody. So if you cannot live with them the way they are, you need to leave them alone. And I said to him, I didn't know that I was young. I realize that now. So I'm out. I'm out. After 25 years of marriage, I'm out. Because I was in my mid 40s. I'm not willing to live like this for the rest of my life. So I was out, right? My ex-wife and I still have a good relationship, but marriage is not no. So, you asked the question, should you move? Right? You said you cannot, if nothing changed, not one thing changed, you would not want to be with him. You should leave. And you say the sad part is you haven't been with him since 2015. Well, why do you consider you guys to still be together? I mean, are you in a relationship with him? Are you not in a relationship with him? Are you in a relationship with him in your head? Are you just guys tied down? I mean, do you live together? I mean, what's the situation? It seems like this is a pretty easy decision to make. You're dealing with somebody who's narcissistic. Sounds like you haven't been with this person since 2015, but in your mind, you think in some way, shape, form, fashion, you guys are still together, and you want to move to Houston to kind of get away and get on with your life. You're saying he won't move on. That ain't got nothing to do with you. That's up to him. It's your life. You have to move on. It doesn't matter if he wants to move on or not. Who cares? Who cares? The relationship prior to my marriage, I was with a woman for 3 years, and she did something that crossed the line for me. So in 24 hours, I left. And I sent her a text message saying, hey, I just wanted to, let you know that when you get home, things have changed. I'm not there anymore. She thought I was kidding. She thought I would never leave her. Ma'am, you better, please. I asked the same question. I asked myself the same question I asked you. Can I live like this for the rest of my life? The answer is no. I couldn't. So I left. 24 hours. It took me 24 hours. It ain't take me no 2 days, 3 days, a week, a year. I was gone. I didn't care what she thought. Because I was not willing to live like that for the rest of my life. You cannot get what belongs to you until you let go of what doesn't. So, my advice to you is pack your stuff and move to Houston. Now, wait a minute. Watch this. And delete every phone number. Block every phone number. Delete every picture. On social media, any friends or family members, anybody that you two are connected to, you need to eliminate all of that. If they know him and they are talking to you, do not have a conversation with them about him. If you're connected to both them and him on social media, block all of them. Phone numbers, block them. He should have no way of being able to contact you because he's going to try. Right? And you don't want that in your life. So block all of it and then focus your attention on something that's good for you. Whether that's, and I'm not saying that you delete Facebook. I'm saying you block and delete him and everybody else on Facebook. Every person that you guys are connected to, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, email, every picture in your phone, every picture on your computer that you have of this person with him, I don't care who it's with. You delete it. You remove every Twitter, every memory you can of this person. Because what's going to happen, listen to me. Whenever you leave a relationship, you are in that relationship both mentally, physically, and emotionally, right? And in my book, Relationship Success, I talk about these three areas, right? We leave a person physically, but we don't eliminate or delete that person mentally, right? We're not with that person, but we still have pictures. And what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself missing that person and looking through those pictures. And those pictures will bring memories back that makes you second guess your decision. So that's why I tell people the process should be when you leave physically, right? That means you are no longer in the presence of the person, and every piece of anything that connected you two together. I don't care if he brought you a $20,000 ring, get rid of it, because it's all going to make you remember him, right? Or her. You got to get rid of the physical stuff. And by doing that, you will still have some memories floating around your head, things you go, places you've done that'll remind you of this person. You want to stop doing that too. And then, so mental, emotional, the emotional part will start to fade away as time goes on and you no longer see, talk to, or think about that particular person. So Cute, it's good to say that you will never miss him. It's good that you are saying that, okay? Now I'm telling you, if you're looking for permission to move to Houston, not that you need it from me, if I were you and if I could move next week, I would move. And I wouldn't tell nobody, not one person. I wouldn't tell anybody. I would just move on. Pick up and move. Wouldn't tell them where I'm at. Wouldn't tell them about the city. Wouldn't tell them nothing. I wouldn't tell no friends. I wouldn't tell if anybody that knows him. I just wouldn't do it. I'm out. And that's how you get rid of people like that in your lives. But the baseline question, whenever you're facing some sort of deal breaker, is, if nothing changed, could I live like this for the rest of my life? I'm going to encourage you to go click the link in my bio, and I'm asking you to invest in yourself. Go get the book. It's time to move on. 5 relationship deal breakers that let you know it's time to go. I'm going to ask you to get the 30-day success journal. 30 days to success journal. Click the link in my bio. You can get these right now. I'm going to ask you to get the book called Love Yourself. 15 Keys to Help You Learn to Love Yourself More. Listen, that book was written. I was like, I know I love me, but I was doing things that made me think, my goodness, I can't love myself and I'm letting myself go through this with somebody else, right? I can't love myself if I'm letting myself go through this at work. We treat people how to love us by how we love ourselves. We teach them how to love us. And then finally, the ebook, Watch Your Mouth. 5 things we're saying constantly that's destroying our self-image, our relationships, and our lives. Go click the link in the bio. I would love your support. Invest in yourself. And I'll see you guys next on the next live or replay. Take care. I love you so much. I'll spend the rest of my life helping you get to the next level in yours. Take care.